Good morning, guys. So this is Coach Morton, and today we're talking about how do you annotate and re-annotations for your games. If you're watching this, then you show interest in going to the Middledale tournament at the end of the month. And at that tournament, you're going to need to know how to notate your games for a future task. And most likely for this task right here, I do want you to practice writing down at least one game you played online inside your notebook and have your parent initial saying that they've seen you complete that task right there. So what that'll look like is you'll play a game like on chess.com, wherever, and then once you're done, you're just going to copy the whole game into your notebook so you can practice writing down the moves and whatnot. Because in a real game, you're going to have to do that after every move you make. And so it's important you guys start practicing that skill so it becomes a second habit or second thought to you. So right here, I'm just going to show you guys a couple of things real quick. I am making right now the forum post I'll be posting later. It'll look something like this. I'll have right here a brief description, and I will be attaching this video plus this resource as well. So I want you guys to read over this document right here. It has really all the rules you'll ever need to know about notation. If you didn't know, in chess, if you go read a chess book or let's say play through someone's game that was already been played before, you're going to have to know exactly what these letters means and also how to notate not just for yourself, but also for your opponent as well. This is often one of the misconceptions about beginners or from beginners is that you're only notating for yourself. That's not true because in chess, there's your move and your opponent's move that completes the whole game. So bear that in mind. So I'm going to show you guys how this works as well too. The coordinate system right here. Um, and of course on a real board, you don't have such luxury right there, of course. So knowing where to find the letters, guys, quickly is really important. It does cover examples like captures right here. Use an X when you want to capture something. Capital B means a bishop. Capital N is a knight. Capital R is a rook, and so on. It does go over special situations like if two pieces of the same kind, like two knights, can go to the same square. Knowing how to notate that's really important so you can accurately record your games. And then here's some special rules as well, like castling, double zeros, or long castling, which again, at some point in your games, you'll have both opportunities to long castle or short castle. We'll talk later about en passant. Of course, we'll talk more about promotions and these other annotations as well. This part right here, bad move, blunder, and exclamation point for good move. This is when you're starting to so I said notate earlier. Notate means you're writing down your moves. Annotate means after your game, you're writing down your thoughts you had at specific moments in the game. Like down here, for instance, here's a sample game. So in this game, it goes e4, e5, bishop c4, bishop c5, which is a question mark. So for black, this is black's move. And the first move right here is white's move. For black's move, it's kind of questionable because after queen h5 and knight f6, double question mark, that's a blunder. Then queen takes on f7, which can't visualize what that looks like. Uh, Pause the video, break out a board, and do this for yourselves, guys, of course. The hashtag means that this leads to checkmate right here. So bear that in mind. And I'm sure that you guys should definitely open up this right here as well, too. I want to show you guys my own game. So we're not just here talking about this document. You guys can read this for yourselves, of course. So I want to show you guys how this will look like in an actual game. Because in a real game, you're going to have to do this as you're playing, of course. So right here's a game I won literally just today. So that's the time right there, of course. And so I'm going to put on the board a piece of paper. I'm using Zoom so I can actually type on the screen itself. There we go. So I'll put this right here. So just imagine for a second that you're at a tournament and you are going to play your first move, right? Oops. I guess, let's see. I'm gonna have to troubleshoot as we're talking, guys. Then, what if I can type and just use my arrow pad to go through the game. About to find out, guys. Hmm. All right, so there's the first move right there. So I can use my arrow pad right here, of course, to notate the moves, of course. But I want to actually write it down on the screen so you guys can actually see this. So I do apologize for this small delay. I might just do it in key moments, so the best production for the best students, right? So I do apologize for the small delay, like right here. I want to see if I can actually do this the right way, and I cannot. All right, so I guess then I'm just going to show you guys a couple of key moments in this game, and then kind of go from there, of course, too. So if this was the first move, guys, like let's say you're playing as black right here, and your opponent's playing white. On most boards, you guys will get, you're going to have the notation on the board somewhere like this. So if I scroll down to, let's see, already past it. There it is. All right, cool. So inside for notation, as you guys can see, next to each piece and on the left-hand side right here is the coordinates. You have numbers for the ranks and letters for the files. If I flip the board real quick, you know that this is white side of the board because the white right square is white. And for white, the letters are in order, A, B, C, D, and so on. For black is backwards. So if you guys want to remember that, black means backwards and white is right. Just keep that in mind. So if I was to play this game right here, of course, we'll make our first couple of moves right. So first move is going to be E4 and C6. It's called E4 because this pawn is on the E file and it lands on the fourth rank right here. So that square there is called E4. And same thing goes for C6. C6, it's on the C file. Might be hard to see because the bishop's in the way, but this is a C file. And this is a 6th rank. So when I move the pawn to that square and let go in a row match, then it's going to be C6 right there, of course. And it's going to look like this guy's on your piece of paper, of course. So for move 1, and you'll type, well, not type, when you go to a real tournament, you'll be given a score sheet. So the score sheet will have like boxes for you to fill in terms of your notation. And at some point in the future, I'll show you guys an example of this. So let's take a guess step by step, of course. So for white, they play E4. For pawns, you don't actually write down P E4 like this. That's not correct. This is actually correct right here. And then to complete move 1, black has to play their move as well, in this case, C6. So one move, guys, in this sequence is going to be one move for white and one move for black. We call this apply in chess. So P apply in chess. And once you start getting into more advanced concepts like counting and stuff like that, then this becomes more important. But for right now, though, that's the basis, guys, right there, of course. So I'm going to show you guys a few more moves right here. So I'm just going to show you guys these next few moves right here. This move, guys, is knight f3. So I'm going to type this on the screen, guys, real quick so you guys can see that. So for move 2, there we go. So basically, N, like I said earlier, means capital N for knight. Capital K is for king. So that's why it's knight's N and king's K for that reason. And then my last move, guys, was D5. Again, a pawn move right there. Oh, look, it stays right there. That's awesome. All right, so when a pawn captures, guys, or really anything in chess, so notice how when the E pawn, it moves across like this. And again, if you're watching this and you don't know how the pieces move, then you might want to spend a little bit more time maybe watch another video, which I'll post later. But for right now, though, I'm just going to keep going, of course. So when a capture happens, this is move 3 for white. So E takes on D5. Basically, when that pawn takes a pawn on that square, it's going to that square, it's going to stop. And if, well, my next move is going to be C takes on D5. That means this pawn right here It's going to capture that pawn next, like this. Now, if it was the queen, which I don't play right here, by the way, if you want to like pause the video 1 second, think to yourselves, why don't I play queen takes pawn right here, by the way? BTW is going to look something like this. I think this is still move. It's either move four or something. I forget exactly what move this is right here. Um, for black's moves, because white goes first, I always put these three little dots because they go second in chess, as you guys already know. So queen takes on d5 is a question mark because in this particular position right here, if I do go there, guys, then I give white a tempo. Tempo means that when they move, in this case, knight c3, they are attacking the queen. And oftentimes in chess, you don't want to give your opponent any tempi or chances to attack your pieces while also improving their position as well. So for that reason, I don't play queen takes pawn earlier. I play pawn takes. Now in this position, white does play c4. This is a variation of an opening that I'm going to tell you guys real quick. I'm going to clear the annotations real quick. There we go. So this is a variation of opening called the pan-off for the Kiro Khan. Okay. And so basically, as you guys get more experience, you'll start recognizing these openings right here essentially. And what white's trying to do is they're trying like attack my center, put a pawn in the center so you can control some squares on my side of the board right here, of course. And they want me to take them because again, if I take them, so in this case it could be d takes on c4, then bishop will recapture guys right here with tempo. Again, they get to capture and move a piece out actively, which I don't want. And by the way, it's going to look something like this again. So if I, let's just say move 5, d takes on c4 is the move, question mark. Then for move 6 for white, their next move, bishop takes on c4, it's going to help them to get developed as quickly as possible, which we don't want them to do so easily. So I play here. Again, I'm trying to prioritize development, and I want them to take me. That's kind of my idea right here, essentially. If they take me, guys, which they do, now if knight takes pawn, now if knight c3, my knight does not have to move necessarily, and I don't want to take them. Again, if I take them, guys, and again, if you're a beginner or an intermediate player watching this right now, you guys will learn what are good captures and what are bad captures. And this one right here is typical of someone who doesn't understand pawn structure. We don't want to let white fix her pawn structure right here. And sure, they can take us, or rather, we can take them. But in this position, white's fine because there's no queens on the board. They have more pieces active right here. And it's basically an equal position when all the smoke clears, of course. Or they also could take this way as well, too, if they want to go that way to keep the queens on the board. So we want to lead them, guys, to an isolated queen's pawn. And this is oftentimes a main strategy that black might want to employ against white. This pawn right here can only be defended by pieces and not other pawns because there's no pawns to its left or right here. So that's a pawn, guys, we want to attack later. Hence why I don't even take the knight at all. And if they do play bishop c4 now, I just drop my knight back and everything's fine. Now, my opponent here plays a gambit. And for those of you guys who like to watch YouTube videos, I recommend you guys, well, not recommend, I think it's a really bad opening choice or variation. This is called the Alien Gambit, which I'll give 2 question marks because in all my games I played online, I only lost against this me like a handful of times. I played against this like dozens of times right here. The idea is that if you take the pawn f7, and by the way, for those who are wondering what that looks like in annotation world, I'm just going to say it's like a move 9 or something. So move 9, bishop takes on f7. I give it a question mark exclamation point because in general, you don't want to sacrifice your bishop for a pawn. If you didn't know, bishops are worth 3 points and pawns are worth 1 point. So you're really losing material here. But what does white gain? Well, white gains the ability to attack me with a couple of different moves. So you have to be mindful about. Like, let's say after I take back right here. So capital K takes on F7. Here, guys, just think for a second about, well, actually, I'll ask you a different question 1 second. In this case, white just goes check immediately, and then I drop back. In this position, guys, just think to yourselves, how would you respond to this attack right here? It looks like white is about to bring all their pieces to the party, and meanwhile, our king's kind of sitting duck right here back on his home square. It can't castle. So in this situation, just pause the video. What would you do here as white, or sorry, black in this situation? Oh, I actually kind of hurt my knuckles. Oh my gosh. If you guys set E6, then you're on the money. This just blocks any nonsense right here, guys, essentially, because now the bishop house could control some key squares. I want to say, guys, computer, which, by the way, if you guys have noticed so far, I haven't turned on the engine yet because I want to analyze this game from my own point of view first. We're going to talk later about how do you analyze your games and annotate your games as well. Again, notate means write down your moves. Annotate means you are write down your thoughts as well. So right here, guys, I'm just going to turn on the engine real quick and clear this off the board, guys, real quick. I want to see if, yes, as you guys can see, basically was not in trouble the whole game. But I want to go to that specific moment in the game, guys, right there. So it was actually move 8. Wow. I'm on the money today. Yeah, so this was a double question mark by the computer as well, because really, if black does what they're supposed to be doing here, again, this is called, guys, again, the accelerate pan off. I knew it was close to the right name, but you get the point, right? This is a double question mark because if black plays perfectly, then white just lost a bishop for a pawn for nothing. So I took back, which is the best move right here. Queen b3 is their best try to go for an advantage. I go back. Uh, Going here, guys, is you're asking to get murder. You're asking to get murder, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. If you go king g6 right here, just kind of let your pieces shield you for a second. Knight here was not the best move. What was their best move then? Computer. If I go back for a second. Here, castles. So you guys can see the 0-0 right here. That means short castle. And again, once you guys start writing notation more regularly, you guys can start understanding what these moves right here mean. And eventually you guys can start seeing this in your mind as well, like I do. So when I'm playing games online and in person, I can actually see a lot of these moves in my mind. Just it's what they call blindfold chess. And really, guys, that's the whole point of chess is be able to play chess without even have to look at the board at all. You can do everything in your mind, but that's a very advanced concept we'll cover later, guys, of course. So they should have cast right. Here's what I'm trying to say. And let's see. Yep. So this is a good move. It's not the best move I could play right here, but it is a good move. Check mark means on chess.com, that's playable. You know, you don't lose immediately if you play that move right there, of course. Uh, so right here for me, E6 is good. Queen D3 was better. So Queen D3 right here. I guess so they don't castle. I guess the computer is just saying to themselves that, hey, if you do go Queen D3 right here, let's just say, they might go check. This is their second best move right here, guys. If I can actually put my cursor on the right square. There you go. It's kind of thinking for a second about what's the best move here for white. I mean, everything's losing. So just so you guys know, the evaluation bar right here, this tells you guys who's winning. And to think about this, it's kind of like a tug of war, you know? So you're trying to make it so that this whole bar right here is black because it indicates that black's winning by a lot right here. Versus if this bar was completely white, then white's winning by a lot right here. And if it's in the middle, like right here where my cursor's at, then it's an equal position essentially. In your annotation, well, sorry, in your notations and annotations, guys, you won't really have to worry about this computer evaluation right here. but it's something to be mindful about when you analyze your games online. So queen check right here. And I guess, I guess the computer says that after this king d8, we're just doing fine right here. They can't castle, and we'll soon trade queens, which is what I did in the actual game. So let's go back there, guys, real quick. So I'll show you guys what I did in the actual game, just really quickly to wrap up. So they castled. I went here to trade queens, and they let me trade queens right here, which, by the way, if you're white right here and you're trying to attack, losing your most powerful attacking piece, it's not the best idea, guys, to win a game right here. So I took a course, more trades, guys. And pod quiz. I know it's been a long video. You guys probably haven't. I know you guys might not have been still watching right now, but if you guys are still watching and you want to really learn how to play good chess right here, do you think I took the knight right here, guys? Bishop takes on c3, by the way. If you say no, then you're good job. You've been listening earlier. Why not? Because if I take guys right here, yes, I'm trading, but it does let white fix their pawn structure. And like I said, guys, earlier, this pawn right here, I do want to kind of win that pawn in some kind of fancy way. And then these pawns right here are doubled, so they're not going anywhere as well. So I don't want to take the knight necessarily. Let's see if I was right here real quick. Let's see if our good friend Coach Morton's on the money today or not. So let's go back. Yeah, it didn't like my last move. That's interesting. Whatever. I'm not gonna care. Computer. I think that's best. Whatever. Yeah, so it likes this move right here. Just get my pieces active. Off your trader rooks off the board. If I play guys right here, by the way, so is this even a move right here? Nope, it's all rook moves right here. The computer recommends bringing your big guns, as they say, to the party. If I do take right here, I mean, I lose about half my advantage by taking, because again, they get to take back guys and gain something back for compensation. Compensation means it's that we're giving them something to fight for now when we want to like break their soul and make them want to cry and stuff like that. Anyway, they don't trade. I support my bishop, brought my knight here, and I win guys another pawn. So life's going good. Now, right here, they actually did find nice tactics. So, to be fair, right now, and by the way, you guys can see the times right here. This was a blitz match, so I used not even a minute of my time right here. But I should have thought here a little bit longer about what would have been the best move right here, of course. In this position, White has a tactic. And in these kinds of situations, guys, and I'm glad you guys, if you are listening this far, you get to learn another training tool you should be using in your games, which is when your opponent plays a tactic against you, it's important you guys do save that in some kind of way. It could be in your notebook, it could be in some kind of Google document, whatever, but you need to save those because you don't want that to happen to you again in some other situation. And so right here, I didn't consider why my opponent did this right here, but white to move, there's a tactic that white can play here that can definitely help them to gain not a winning advantage, but at least to give them something to fight for, essentially. If you're an advanced player, that means if you took my survey and you identify as an advanced player, hope you guys got this completely right here. If you're a beginner or intermediate watching this, if you guys spot the fact that this knight right here had a potential fork, which forks the king, the two rooks, and friends, you're on the right track. But the problem with knight here right now is that the bishop on b4 does control d6 right here. So if knight here check, guys, by the way, which I'll type this out real quick. I'm just gonna say this is like move 15 by this point. So knight d6 check plus, guys, it's like a crosshair because you're trying to target the king. This is a question mark, double question mark, because bishop takes on d6, exclamation point, because we just want a knight for free, of course. That's why it's exclamation point. So in this line, guys, right here, after knight here, and by the way, this is what I meant when I said, guys, deuce, guys, your mind, for instance. Yeah, right here, guys, black's just winning everything essentially and has no problems. That's why in this position, if you guys said this other line right here, so move 15, rook takes on b4, question mark. Then you guys are on the money because after, a takes on b4, now move 16 at 96 is a pretty decent move. And I'll give this a exclamation point question mark as well. And I do so because even here, guys, after let's say the captures and I move my king, it's not like white has got back their lost piece, whatever, but they have in some kind of way get themselves something to play for right here, which you'll see in 1 second. So I'll show you guys what this looks like right now, essentially. So after, my bad, after rook takes, pawn takes, and here, so still a piece, but now they have a pass pawn right here, which can be a little problematic for me. But we'll see in a second, right? I just want to see for a second, if I go back for a second. All right, so this guy's right here is the threat. So I'm guessing right here then that the best move that I could have played was probably rook A d8 right here is my guess. So I'll put this guys on the board so you guys, well, on the screen so you guys can see this. So black's best reply is, let's just say move 14, rook A d8, because there's two rooks guys on the board and they both could go to d8 right here. So basically, if this guy goes to the right, this is called rook E d8. If this one goes to the left, this is called rook A d8. I hope you guys can see the difference right there, of course. And this one's because we're targeting the pawn. They can go knight here to attack stuff, but we don't care personally. I mean, even this move right here is also, I guess, good too. Let's see. Let's see if we're on the money today or not, guys. All right, so my bad. Here, there, 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 there. Ooh, it still says that this is pretty decent for us right here, which is funny. All right, let's go back and move. Yeah, so right here, guys, as you guys can see, and actually rather it likes either rook E d8 or rook A c8 or rook c5. I mean, or sorry, rook e5. So this rook right here attacks the knight, of course. So those are some moves I could have been playing right here, essentially. And even like my move in the game, it doesn't lose that much advantage because in this situation, after chop, chop, and here, it's not like I'm really losing a piece right here. It looks scary, but so what, right? So that's how much I'm winning right here, of course. All right, guys, let's go ahead and park this ship at some point because I know you guys are probably tired of listening to me rant for like however long this video's been going, of course. So boom, boom, boom. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hope you guys understand. Yeah, and this move, guys, right here, I would give myself a question mark right here. Taking the bishop right here was just not the best idea. I think I could have gone here. To have gone here next, essentially, guys. This was the best idea right here. Of course, that's just me thinking about this for a second. Because now, after trades, now I give white these two double pawns right here. And it got scary. I'm not gonna lie, it got really scary for a second because I was just like, how in the world am I gonna win these pawns right here? As you guys can see by my time, I don't have that much time to really think about this right here. So I'm trying to keep the king out, guys. I'm trying to make sure the king can win these pawns right here. But now the pawns get to roll down the board, and my knight, even though I have an extra piece, this knight right here is not really equipped to handle two connected pawns like this. And here's my king. So I'm in trouble. I definitely think right here my opponent had a chance to at least come back. So I went here because I'm trying to like go here next and like try and like give a check to win these pawns essentially. And I'm hoping, and I was right, that they will take right here, which is probably bad for them if I had to guess. I took that pawn next. I did not take, by the way, Didn't take them because that loses really quickly, and now they have a passed G pawn. And so right here, guys, you have to know a concept called opposition. If you don't know what that is, then of course you guys should definitely practice. And here's my last pop quiz question for you guys. How do you win this position as black? So what move is really the only move you can play right here? I'm pretty sure. And I'll check the computer 1 second to confirm this. But in this position, how do you win this as black? If you said king d4, you're on the money. It does not allow the white king to gain access to e4 right here. And if we did allow the king guys get there, by the way, if you go here, then this king will eat that pawn, and then the g pawn runs, which you don't want. We do get our own pass pawn, but again, we don't want to give our opponent any fighting chances, guys, right here. So I'm sure that after this move right here, that my best move right here, guys, is going to be king to d4. But we'll check, guys, real quick, of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're still doing well. Yeah, I mean, don't judge me, computer. All right, so right here, real quick. Yep, so we're still winning, guys, by -6. King there, king d3, b3, and then king d4 is the best move. You could have played king c2, I guess, right here too, technically speaking, but this is just cleaner. King c3 is also fine, technically speaking. But in this position, I want to guess, yeah, king d4 is best. It rules out any nonsense that we don't want to have happen right here, of course. And then, of course, guys, from here, my opponent resigned because I'm just too fast. They'll win my pawns right here, which I'll show you guys real quick what that might look like. And let's say the king goes, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of ways that white can, oh sorry, black can win this right here. The simplest, guys, how do you stop king and pawn? That's really the question right here. And understanding, guys, the concept's really important. What you do here, the simplest way, by the way, if you really want to know, you could go queen c5 right here. And I'll play that move because why not? And this house guys right here. So you want to blockade a pawn. That way the pawn cannot go down the board that much further. And then you bring your king over to win that pawn and then checkmate the king from here. I'll play that for a second. Like this, guys. And so right here, guys, the queen maintains a knight's opposition away. Now, queen b3 is stalemate, if you guys didn't know that. So if you play guys queen b3, white's not in check, but they'll have no legal moves, of course. Right here, guys, checkmate, of course. All right, so thank you guys for watching the video. It's a little bit longer than I wanted to make it, but I'll tell you guys maybe in the article to watch the first maybe 5 minutes or so, and then to skim through the rest at your leisure, of course. But hope you guys found it helpful, and I will talk to you guys soon.